Here I am on the edge of Bohemia, where Germany, Austria, and the Czech Republic meet. How far is that from Nqamakwe? Actually, I don't think words can really say. 3 tractors on the opposite hillside are cutting and gathering the ripe grasses, making hay while the sun shines, literally. After weeks of cold, wet, unseasonal weather, it is supposed to be midsummer, they seize the sunshine in earnest. We've grown accustomed to this village where my parents chose to finally rest up. Actually, we know more people here than they do, and I know we'll miss it eventually. The succulent meadows, mysterious silent forests, sparkling streams, and our customary walk down from the Burg, which is the fortress on the hill, to my folks for breakfast, and stopping at the Tante Emma Laden, which is the tiny village shop, for a coffee en route. The cycling trips from and to Passau, the completely outrageous motorcycle museum in Willy Schmidt's house, Papa's 20-year-old 318 BMW coupe, which is still like new, the Bavarian garden gnomes, our banker, who plays zither in his band Irda Musi, and Familie Hoffmann's Burggasthof, complete with craft butchery. The beavers on their tractors opposite intimidate me on my guitar, seeking leisure and pleasure on the terrace of our ancient hilltop fortress dominating the village, while they labour eagerly to extend their already substantial Wohlstand. These Bavarians have 1,000 years of winter, wolves, deep forest and hardship behind them, against which only serious, hard Arbeit has been able to prevail. So my puny efforts on this beautiful 12-string just delivered from another German forest town away to the northwest float emptily into the postcard scenery, the voluptuous fields, perfect farmyards, and reliable roads. Where would Europe be without this? And it is not only work ethic that prevails here. There is a deep soul and unique humanity which touches us every time we visit. This manuscript was almost complete when it suddenly dawned on me that if I dawdled on, my parents may never actually read it. So I phoned the Irda Musi banker to ask whether I could send a PDF which my father might collect. The next I heard was that on receipt of my email with the PDF, he printed and bound it and then delivered it to my parents in person. Hier ist die Welt noch in Ordnung.
Look at the man who's making a plane in Nqamakwe, leaving his home to go to the Maba city. Yeah, mama, I'm feeling so dry. The water's too far and the sun is so high. The mother city, she look after me and give me money for my family. Hey, bro, I tell you, life is so good at the mountain. Maninji, Amanzi, and everyone has their own fountain. All men are brothers, everyone's free. The ladies are lovers, you take what you see. The mother city, she look after me. She really love me like my family. Winter is coming to cover us with her wet blankets. The shack is a home if you have a house say donkey. Hey, little sister, please look after me. I'm feeling so dizzy and you're looking so sweet. You're much too young to sleep in the streets. Just blow on the plastic and they'll turn into sheets. Look at the man who's making a plan in Nqamakwe. Leaving his home to go to the mother city. Yeah, mama, mama, I'm feeling so cold. Please bring me the summer before I grow. The mother city, she's been good to me. Remember me to my family.
You will know. From just above the heart, with all of it, do or don't, as you will, as you can. It will be good for all of us, rich and poor, black and white. Lyric, chord, melody, all are you in unfathomable depth. Take and use liberally, walk the talk, stay and play, be within, drink and be full. Sleep as in dreams and read what comes. You who are above and with language, spoke and sung, fly, soar, glide, plunge. All are here with you, although silent as in prayer. The current is powerful but clear. It will tingle and tease. You will know, and it will know you.
Trouble every other day. So tired of living double, got to be another way. I've been on through to the other side, played with fire and rain. If I had me another time, I wouldn't go back again. If you hear me fall, please take the call. Save a soul. Options open like a can of gasoline. Intentions are forgotten, caution to the winds. Today he is invincible, tomorrow may never come. He can never walk the talk when he's on the run. If you hear him fall, please take the call. Save a soul. circling the bay, till it was almost Easter, winter on the way. Suddenly she was gone, nowhere to be found. Took your soul for recovery, feet back to the ground. When I heard you fall, I took the call. Save a soul. I took your call. When I heard you fall, I took your call. Save a soul.
Amajuba. On the road to Amersfoort, about 20 kilometers outside Volksrus, looking left across succulent green summer veld, there looms the colossal six-pack. It is Majuba, one of South Africa's largest power stations with a capacity of more than 4,000 megawatts. Here is a monument to our dubious past and simultaneously an embarrassing icon of our puzzling present. It's to be my home for the next 4 days while I provide training to groups of Eskom staff. At the turnoff from the N11, the station seems to be just minutes away, but there is still a whole 20 kilometers to go. As I get closer, I'm overawed by the sheer magnitude of this edifice. Over 200 meters high and almost a kilometer long, its collapsed coal silo is a blackened stump in the mid-foreground, grinning like a rotten incisor, uncaring of the cumulative embarrassment felt by all who are connected with the ailing utility. It is surreal to be back after so many years. My first experience of this area was a visit to Jed and his band of gypsies who were drilling test holes to provide data for a proposed colliery to feed the power station. But we knew nothing of Majuba then. Our purpose was to get out into the country, play music, and generally have a hippie time. It was the mid-70s, and Majuba Power Station was far under the public radar. Later, in the early 80s, I became an intimate part of the project when my then employer, Steinmüller, won the contract for the building of a power station at Amersfoort, subsequently named Majuba, after the nearby hill on which the Boers dealt the British a resounding blow during that infamous war. There were complications, and the station was not actually built until the 90s. Maybe there was a jinx, or even some subterfuge, but as it turned out, the colliery, built solely to provide feedstock for those giant boilers, never delivered more than a trickle of fuel, and all coal has been delivered by rail or road from the earliest days. Whatever coal was actually down there was quite simply not economically mineable. Of course, this was juicy, controversial stuff, with people speculating that the whole project was a ruse to get good prices for the land that Eskom needed to buy for the station and the colliery. Land owned, of course, by insiders. As I stood at the entrance to the old farmhouse that we had visited all those years ago, and which lies right opposite the colliery, I wondered whether that old band of gypsies had somehow unwittingly been suckered into providing more optimistic data than the situation merited. Later, there emerged a scheme to ignite the coal underground and to extract the gases and the heat for use in the power station. But that idea has long since been shelved. And so the silent colliery slumbers to the north, while the rotten tooth grins to the east, and Eskom tries desperately to recover from this crisis. Its immediate past CEO languishing somewhere with his multi-million severance package. As I drive out every morning from my quaint guest house through the rich hilly farmland with its scattered painted mud villages, I drift into a contented reverie of how Africa could be. And then Majuba comes up on the horizon, and it just doesn't fit. It's too big, too hungry, too black instead of green, a monument to man's disregard for the environment and his resounding unconsciousness. I set up for my workshop at the Lapa, located in the surprising game park alongside the power station, with its zebras, wildebeest and springbok all in good number. Both fauna and flora are in fine shape, but the building is tired. This place, one of the sponsors of which, according to a faded plaque, was my old employer, Steinmüller, will have seen some epic drinking bouts for sure. But Eskom is on a shoestring now, unlike its retired executives, and guests are no longer entertained by game drives and potjiekos, which is stew cooked on the open fire. My group today is 15 strong, and I wonder how many will actually pitch up. The last 2 workshops have had 6 and 9 participants respectively, although we are paid for a minimum of 15. By 9:30, I decide to proceed with my record group, a total of 2 participants. Delighted that somehow I've been able to avoid plunging into my usual bleak depression about how this place is falling into ruin. Instead, I meditate over tea, no biscuits, on a log overlooking the wetland towards the opposite hillside, where I count roughly 30 head of game. Africa has time, and I must try not to be in a hurry.
In the inner circle there's a song, always takes us back where we belong. Eagerly we turn the page, looking for that sweet passage in the book we never wrote. All around the circle there is love, and anything will always be enough.
As usual, I bought an acoustic guitar magazine at the Plattling station on arrival in Germany. The article that caught my attention was a review on the new Lakewood baritone guitar. I had always been fascinated by the possibilities of such an instrument, and the brand spoke to my German origin. Although the name Lakewood tends to suggest American roots. So I made contact. Kein Problem, said Martin Seliger, the proprietor, who also answers the phone, and 2 days later, a perky courier arrived in our Bavarian village with a huge parcel. My spare time had just been booked out. Despite considerably heavier strings, longer scale, and wider neck, it was not a difficult instrument to master, and quite soon I had 3 or 4 new songs in the bag, making the Barry a regular gig companion. My Lakewood made its mark on the Cape Town folk scene, and some tentative orders were placed, although that hadn't really been my intention. Nonetheless, I decided to bring in a small shipment of various models, and they actually sold quite well. I had meanwhile sent a video clip of the Natasha Meister band to Martin Zeliger and his team, who loved her immediately. Generously, they decided to provide her with an M32 custom, and the love affair was confirmed. Lakewoods are now available in South Africa, where they enjoy a well-deserved top reputation. My own collection includes many of these beautiful guitars, and they are in every way my favorites. At some stage, the guys at Lakewood asked me to help out with German-English translations, so I did their new handbook and website, which gave me a wonderful bilingual glimpse into mid-European luthery. This led to Martin Zeliger's kind invitation to spend some time at the Lakewood workshop in Röttgen by way of a form of artisan retreat. This fitted in quite well with various other aspects of my life, and so I booked a flight and reserved an apartment in a nearby village. So, here I am, in a tiny, quiet spot in the center of the old world, in an ancient building, which is a renovated cigar factory, with a small group of luthiers building roughly 100 top-quality handmade guitars per month. I cycle about 15 minutes to and from work each day through fields and forests, all in an environment that you would have to witness to comprehend. When speeding through this picturesque landscape in an air-conditioned, super-fast ICE train, one might never realize that there is a craft-entrepreneurial team at work in this sleepy hamlet, nor might the average guitarist appreciate what really goes into the creation of an instrument produced by these guys. One would need to have this opportunity that I'm enjoying of co-designing my very own custom guitar, selecting tone woods from a lovingly accumulated hand-picked stash, and then cutting, assembling, and finishing off what will effectively end up as a piece of art. One would have to handle these beautiful living materials and see them interact with modern tools to become exceptional instruments, each with an individual voice and character. One would have to witness the custom-built machinery, tools, jigs, and software to get a feel for how much time, effort, and plain cash has been invested here. It helps if a local virtuoso player pops in to select a new guitar and to watch wide-eyed and open-mouthed while he does effortless finger acrobatics on the ebony. How sublime to sit in the small showroom, alone, after hours, playing some of these instruments quietly without any other commitments. Yes, it is difficult to choose between the M and the A shape, or between Koa, Cocobolo, and Ziricote tonewoods, 12 or 14 frets, slotted or flat headstock. But right here, these are cool problems, or, as some might say, you're just spoiled for choice. Finally, I selected an A24 custom model in walnut, bear claw spruce with 14 frets to the body. It's an unusual choice, influenced by my extraordinary A36 model and the 1937 Gibson. The A24 will be somewhere between the two, a more modern version of the Gibson. And it makes me wonder, given the precision and craftsmanship of these modern luthiers, how magnificent will the new guitar be when it reaches the current age of my Gibson? 70 years on.
It's believing that we're living in a circle, not a line, endlessly repeating that everything is fine, and the needing to be breathing the air you're breathing too is all we ever wanted to do. The chorus and the orchestra, Mother Nature's formula, purifies the heart.
50 years. It was cozy around our campfire on the beach at San Martino in Mozambique, way back in July 1966. The air was thick with the fragrance of freedom, released by glowing hardwood coals. Nothing will ever replace for me the intense pleasure provided by an African fire. The adults were talking about the winds of change blowing across the continent. It was obvious, even to us teenagers, that the topic was serious, and so I guess we listened attentively. The shift from colonialism to independence was in full swing. I had gathered smatterings of it from some of my classmates who had relocated from Zambia. But, said one of the wise men, we have 50 years at least before it will affect us. Look at our neighbors, Mozambique, Angola, Southwest Africa, and Rhodesia. We will be the very last to feel the winds of change. And that, at the time of writing, was exactly 50 years ago.
Close up all your windows, but don't lock yourself away. Thinking back upon the days we had nothing, but we knew it all. Traveling nowhere, and I loved you all the more. They say we crawled out of the ocean, neither fish nor fowl. Somewhere out among the Galapagos, we had nothing, not even the good book. Didn't know better, and she loved us all it took and more. And she tried to set us free with her six-string poetry, turn the dream into reality. We'll come back again next summer, as we've always done before, and perchance we'll realize there is nothing we don't have, couldn't get better. And she loved us all along, and she tried to set us free with her six-string poetry. Wouldn't it be good if we agreed?
and close up all your windows, but don't lock yourself away. Thinking back upon the day we had nothing, but we knew it all. Traveling nowhere